I'm Judith Maria and welcome to SC Global News. From 372 residents baptized to Christianity in Tanzania to Pope Leo XIV announcing the date of the official declaration of St. John Henry Newman as the doctor of the church, we have many stories to cover. On Sunday, September 21st, a mass baptism was held at the Orthodox Missionary Center in Morogoro, eastern Tanzania, where Bishop Demetrios of Irenopolis, representing the Patriarchate of Alexandria, baptized 372 local residents into the Orthodox Church. Of the 372 individuals baptized, 205 were former Muslims. This event marked the 21st consecutive year that baptisms have taken place during the season at the Mission Center.
The Orthodox Missionary Center in Morogoro, eastern Tanzania, became the site of a profound spiritual revival on Sunday, September 21st, as 372 local residents were baptized into the Orthodox Church by Bishop Demetrios of Irenopolis under the Patriarchate of Alexandria. According to the Greek church news agency Romfe, this event marks the 21st consecutive year the baptisms have been conducted at the Mission Center. Out of the 372 newly baptized individuals, 205 were former Muslims. The candidates had undergone systemic catechesis instruction by local priests before receiving the sacraments of baptism and Holy Communion. Since 2004, in the metropolis of Irenopolis, more than 60,000 people have been baptized through missionary work. The baptismal ceremony was followed by an agape fest for all the newly baptized from the generous donations of Styliani Sakriga of Sohos, Thessaloniki. The offering was made in memory of her husband, Christodoulos Sakriga, and in honor of Tanzanian missionaries Nun Telka of Thessaloniki and Paraskevi Vammakidu of Drama. This ceremony took place at the Morogoro Mission Center, which broke ground in December of previous year. Earlier this year, multiple groups of catechumens were baptized across central Tanzania in February, followed by more than 30 additional baptisms in northern Tanzania in March. Over the past few decades, the Orthodox Church have been expanding its missionary activities across East Africa, with Tanzania being one of the most active regions for conversions.
5 people were killed when a gunman rammed his vehicle into a Mormon church in Grand Blanc Township, Michigan, and opened fire during Sunday service. The suspect, 40-year-old ex-Marine Thomas Jacob Sanford, was shot dead by police after setting the building ablaze and planting a suspected explosive device. Authorities say hundreds of worshippers were inside at that time, and investigators are still searching for a motive.
A routine Sunday service in Grand Blanc Township, Michigan, descended into chaos when a gunman rammed a vehicle in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and opened fire on churchgoers. The suspect, who was later shot by responding officers, set the church ablaze, engulfing the surrounding area in smoke. Michigan police confirmed that at least 5 people were killed and several others injured in the horrific attack. Officials also said the attack on Mormon Church in Grand Blanc, a town 60 miles northwest of Detroit, occurred when almost 700 people were attending the Sunday service. In a press briefing conducted by Michigan police in collaboration with federal agencies, Chief William Raines said that the suspect exited the rammed vehicle and opened fire on unsuspecting congregants. During the briefing, alcohol, tobacco, and firearms agent James Dare added that the gunman had started the fire by pouring gasoline and planting a suspected explosive device in various parts of the church buildings. Authorities identified the shooter behind the attack as 40-year-old Thomas Jacob Sanford, a native of the neighboring town of Burton, Michigan. Initial reports suggest that Sanford served in the Marine Corps from 2004 to 2008 as a mechanical and vehicle recovery operator. Investigative authorities have yet to determine the motive behind the attack.
President Donald Trump condemned the deadly shooting at a Mormon church in Grand Blanc, Michigan, that left 5 people dead. In a Truth Social post, he described it as another targeted attack on Christians and confirmed that the FBI is assisting local authorities in investigating the motive. Trump urged Americans to pray for the victims and declared that the wave of violence in the country must end immediately. His remarks follow a string of recent assaults on Christian communities, including last month's shooting at Minnesota church that killed 2 children.
On September 29, 2025, US President Donald Trump issued a strongly worded condemnation of the deadly shooting that killed 5 people during a Sunday service at a Mormon church in Grand Blanc, Michigan. In a Truth Social post, the president stated that he had been briefed on the events in Michigan and described the shooting as yet another targeted attack on Christians in the United States of America. He announced that the FBI has launched an investigation and will provide assistance to state and local police forces in determining the motive behind this dastardly attack. He also urged fellow Americans to pray for the victims and declared that this epidemic of violence in our country must end immediately. Republican Representative Andy Biggs echoed Trump's reaction to the attack, expressing the view that Christianity is under attack in the United States. President Trump's statement comes at a time when the country has witnessed a series of violent attacks targeting Christian establishments prior to yesterday's event on August the 26th, 2025. A transgender shooter opened fire at the Church of the Annunciation in Minnesota, killing 2 children attending a school-wide mass. Trump recently expressed similar concerns, describing the killing of Christian activist Charlie Kirk as a targeted attack against the country's conservatives.
A Muslim high school student in Uganda fatally stabbed his brother a day after the latter converted to Christianity. According to multiple sources, Akram Kairoki, a third-year student at Mbale High School, reportedly stabbed his 19-year-old brother Shafiq Wasiq twice on September 1st, just before they reached the school. Wasiq had embraced the Christian faith after attending an open-air evangelistic event on August 31st.
A 19-year-old Ugandan boy was fatally stabbed by his own brother just one day after converting to Christianity. Shafiq Wasiq was attacked by his brother Akram Kairoki, a third-year student at Mbale High School on September 1st, shortly after the two arrived at school in Mbale city. Jonathan Kabale, a classmate of Wasiq, recalled his final words, quote, "Why would my brother stab me? I have done nothing wrong to him, only that I changed my faith and became a Christian." End quote. Pastor David Wabumba of Bible Evangelism Ministries reported that Wasiq, a resident of Bujulto village in Nakoma Ward, Mbale City, accepted Christ during an open-air evangelistic event on August 31st, which included a Christian-Muslim debate. Pastor Wabumba noted that Wasiq appeared overjoyed as they parted ways after the event and even expressed interest in attending church the following Sunday. However, shortly afterward, Wasiq called the pastor, explaining that his brother has begun sending threatening messages accusing him of bringing shame to the family because of his conversion. According to the pastor, when Wasiq returned home that evening, his brother confronted him in anger, declaring that their household would not tolerate the coexistence of two religions and demanding that Wasiq abandon his new Christian faith immediately. The next morning, on September 1st, as Wasiq and his brother Kairoki were walking to school, Kairoki suddenly pulled a knife from his bag and stabbed Wasiq in his chest, then again near his ribs on the left side, the pastor reported. Wasiq's cries were heard by the nearby students, including his classmate Kabali, who rushed to the scene and found him writhing in pain. Though Wasiq was rushed to hospital, he succumbed to his injuries at Mbale Regional Referral Hospital. Kairoki went into hiding following the incident, but according to Pastor Wabumba, police in Mbale City launched an intensive manhunt warned and arrested him within few days. He has since been charged with murder. Rogers Taitika, the police spokesperson of the Eglon region in eastern Uganda, stated, quote, "Our team had been tracking him across various areas in Busoga and Buganda, but we eventually apprehended him in Nakwigalo Cell, Busole Town Council, Butaleja district. He is currently in custody at the Empale City Police Station and will soon appear in court." Wasik was buried at his family's ancestral home in Kabwagasi Town Council, with Pastor Wabomba leading the funeral service on September 8th. Speaking to Morning Star News, the pastor shared that the family and clan members refused to participate in handling the body, claiming that Wasik had become an infidel due to his conversion.
Russia unleashed one of its largest overnight assaults on Ukraine on Sunday since the start of the war, killing at least 4 people and injuring dozens in Kyiv and other regions. Ukraine reported shooting down most of the incoming drones and missiles. Meanwhile, Poland quickly launched jets and temporarily closed airspace in response. Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky urged stronger international sanctions.
At least 4 people, including a child, died and about 80 were injured after Russia launched hundreds of drones and missiles at Kiev early Sunday, Reuters reported. The overnight attack lasted more than 12 hours, making it one of the most sustained assaults since the invasion began in 2022. Ukraine's military reported that it faced 595 drones and 48 missiles overnight, while air defenses intercepted most of them. Officials said Kiev was the primary target and 2 people died at a local cardiology clinic. The strikes also damaged residential buildings, factories, and energy facilities. Poland's defense ministry stated that airspace near 2 southeastern cities was temporarily closed and fighter jets were scrambled in response to the barrage until the danger had passed. President Vladimir Zelensky said in his nightly address that Russia used every hour during the UN General Assembly to strike Ukraine. He urged the United States, Europe, and G7 nations to impose decisive sanctions on Moscow's energy sector, emphasizing that action was long overdue. Russia's defense ministry said the strikes targeted Ukrainian military infrastructure, including airfields. Although Moscow repeatedly denies hitting civilians, investigators have documented thousands of deaths and widespread destruction during the conflict.
Pope Leo XIV announced on Sunday that he will declare St. John Henry Newman as Doctor of the Church on November 1st. Speaking after Mass on September 28th during the Jubilee of Catechists, the Pope said that St. Newman played a pivotal role in renewing theology and deepening the understanding of the development of Christian doctrine.
St. John Henry Newman will be proclaimed the 38th Doctor of the Church on November the 1st, All Saints' Day. Pope Leo XIV announced on Sunday at the close of the Jubilee of Catechists Mass in St. Peter's Square that on November 1st, during the Jubilee of the World of Education, the title of Doctor of the Church would be conferred on St. John Henry Newman, who contributed decisively to the renewal of theology and to the understanding of the development of Christian doctrine. On July the 31st, 2025, the Holy See Press Office reported Pope Leo's approval to elevate Newman as a doctor. Doctor of the Church is a rare title granted to certain saints who make a significant contribution to the Church's knowledge of doctrine, theology, and spirituality. Saint Newman was born in London on February 21st, 1801. He served the Church of England as an Anglican priest. His search for the truth led him to the Catholic Church, and he became a Catholic in 1845. Despite being a great theologian, he underwent formation at a seminary in Rome and was ordained a Catholic priest in 1847. In 1879, Pope Leo XIII made him a cardinal. He passed away in 1890 at the age of 89. Pope Benedict XVI beatified him in 2010, and Pope Francis canonized him in 2019.
That's all for today. Until we meet again, God bless and thank you.